차려, 경례. Dawna Hetzler, hi.
Hey, good to see you.
So,
I'm so glad we can do a class together. This is so fun.
yeah, so today you're going to teach us about communications and keeping deadlines. So, I want you to take it over and start teaching us.
Jump right in, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, I feel like communication is so very important, not only with the client, but also with the other realtor that you're working with. And so I always say when there's multiple offers and I'm sending a little email with my contract to the other agent, look, I've been in the business a long time, which if you're new and you can't say that, you can also say, hey, I am really good at communication. I will never go dark on you. You can always get in touch with me and I'll never just like shut down and leave you with surprises. So I think that makes, it builds some trust with other agents as you go into a contract, knowing if they're looking at different contracts, and an experienced somebody who's going to be there and answer questions and never give surprises is super important, right? Because we want to get that transaction to closing.
Yes.
So communications is huge. Communications with our clients as well. This is how we build connection with our clients, is how do you like to be connected with? Do you like text? Do you like phone call? Do you like email? Do you like Zoom video? TikTok, whatever it is, right? How do you want me to reach out to you? What works on your schedule? And so I think that's really important in setting up that right from the get-go with the
Perfect.
communication.
Right.
And then I always like to add in there just trust. Trust is super important. And we can build trust by following through on what we say, that we are advocating for you, whether you're working with a buyer or a seller. We are your advocates and we are going to keep you updated. And so one of the things I like to do in my dates and deadlines and working with buyers and sellers is sending out an email right away. As soon as we get under contract, I have a standard form called congratulations on your purchase. Here are the next steps. And
Oh, wonderful.
John, if you want me to share any of these,
Please,
via
please.
PDF with you, and then you can share them with your agents that you're training. I'm happy to give you my little write-ups and you guys can tweak them to fit your own personalities and, your own wording that fits you.
That's
So
awesome.
definitely use them as templates, and I give these all to my agents. But when we get under contract with a buyer, of course, there's a lot of things to do right away, right? We've got to get that earnest money in. We've
Right.
got to schedule a home inspection, and there's so much to get done. So I will send out that congratulations and next step email to them, or text it to them, or call them with it, or video them, however they want to be contacted, right?
Mhm.
And then give them those next steps. So get your earnest money in. Here's some home inspectors if you need some references on home inspectors. Do you want to test for radon, sewer scope, meth, right? We talked about that in our office meeting. There's so many things we can test in a house, and get that out to them so they know what they've got to do. You need to call your insurance agent to get homeowners insurance quote. And so what I do is send that initial email out, and then I will follow up every date and deadline in the contract with an email.
Mhm.
So let's say it's the CIC, the HOA docs
Mhm.
date and deadline, and we've got to object to it, let's say by tomorrow.
Mhm.
So I like to, at least a couple days before, if not last minute, like the day before, is say, hey, I'll send out an email and just say, tomorrow is your HOA docs deadline.
Mhm.
And that is the date to object to it.
Mhm.
Have you read through your covenants? Please reply to this email or text or what have you. Call me back. Let me know that you have read through it and there's nothing prohibiting you from moving forward in the contract.
Mhm.
And I like to try and get that in writing because, then you can put that in your file in
Mhm.
case you close on a transaction and they're like, hey, you didn't tell me about this in the covenants, right? And then
Right.
you have a paper trail to follow that up. So I do that with every date and deadline. Hey, I
Mhm.
saw that you got your earnest money in. Great job. I've got the receipt. Did you talk to your insurance provider?
Mhm.
Tomorrow is your insurance termination deadline,
Right.
and just following through with all those dates and deadlines and keeping that in writing.
Perfect.
So then with sellers, the other thing I like to do with sellers is as soon as I finish a listing appointment, I will send out a thank you note. And so that's the first thing I do is thank you for the opportunity to serve you and to list and sell and close your property. You know, I'm really excited to work with you. And then we will have communication emails during that time. Here's what we're going to do. Here's when we're coming on the market. Once we get under contract, I have a list of things for them to do. And if we're not under contract yet, I know we're in a hot market right now, but you know, I survived the Great Recession, and there were times where it took months to sell homes, right?
Yes.
And so what I like to teach my team is, you know, I want you to be thinking in that mindset all the time of how you're going to promote. This is not just because it's a hot market and it's easy to sell things. I want you to be thinking through how you're going to market that home. And if it's on the market a week, you're going to send your weekly updates to your clients and say, here's what I've done to market your property. Here's what we're going to do next week. Here's what we're working on next week. And I was working with one of my associates on a commercial rental deal, which is totally out of my scope, but it was a long-term client who wanted me to help them rent a space of a building that they owned. And it really pushed us to think, like, every single week, what can we do to get this rented for our client? Because we know we want to help the client, and the client's going to refer us and give us other business down the road. Right. And so every week we thought of 3 things that we would do to promote that listing. And one of them was, John, we went out and put flyers all over Elizabeth to the businesses saying, hey, we've got this space for rent. Can we, you know, post this in your business? We like to support local businesses. And we actually got a call off of one of those flyers and got it rented for them. So yay, right? And so it's just fun to, like, think outside the box. And I know, like I said, in a good market, you don't have to do a whole lot, but I still do a procedure of marketing, and I can share that email with you as well.
That would be awesome. So, gosh, I mean, you're putting me to shame as a fellow realtor.
I doubt that.
I needed to do a better job of, you know, 3 things. What am I doing? 3 things for you this week, you know, as far as your marketing, your business, or your house. This is what I'm doing for you. I love that. That's a great way to communicate with your sellers about the progress, even the buyers. I mean, this tough market right now, you know, is. So let's go back a little bit to your communication topic today.
Sure.
So, how about this one? So you and I are training a lot of young brokers. So I have maybe 90 young brokers on this channel. I'm personally training about a dozen young brokers at this time. They're going up against Dawna Hetzler and John Park on a listing appointment. Brand new agent, right? Brand new agent. So you're first agent, I'm second agent. They're coming on as a third person to talk to the seller. What would you coach them? How would you communicate yourself to that seller as a young broker?
As a young broker, I would really promote my enthusiasm about the business, and you know, how I hate to say hungry is not the right word, but how you want to get this done for them, and promote your strengths. So maybe you're new in the business, but you have different strengths than me. Like, I'm taking on a newbie who is so tech savvy. Like, she knows things that I don't even want to think about, you know, in the tech world. And she could really promote that and be like, you know what, some of these old timers, they're not on such and such and such and such, you know, social site. And I'm going to make sure your property gets, you know, shown that way. We're going to get it under contract and do the best for you. So promote your strengths. What do you know? Maybe you just finished school, but you have a lot of negotiation training or some extra classes that you took. Promote your strengths and let them know that you're new and you're excited about this business, and you're not complacent or just kind of doing the same thing, and you're thinking outside the box, and work on whatever your strengths are, and just go out there and crush it, right? I don't win every single listing appointment I went on. In fact, I just went on one that's very close to my neighborhood, and I did not get that listing. And when I got the email, I was like, wait a minute, I'm the right person for this. I thought I had it in the bag, right? But I am with you guys, even being new. Like, I started taking jiu-jitsu at the beginning of the year, and look, I started as a white belt, right? And after 2 months, I moved up and got my first blue stripe. Woo! So I just want you to know that no matter where you're at, and if you're just getting started, don't be intimidated by those of us who've been in the business longer. You can totally do this, and getting that connection, letting your sellers know that, or your buyers, that you're out there working hard. Think outside the box. What can you do? Even for your buyers in a tough market, you can write letters to, the neighborhood that your buyer wants to be in and say, hey, I've got a buyer. You can always be thinking outside the box. So work on your strengths. Wow, that was like a mouthful. I hope, hope that wasn't too much, but there you go.
And actually, that was a mouthful, but you know what? I'm going to even add more to that.
Okay, good.
I think, like online, most buyers now are millennials and they're spending so much time online. I think before they go anywhere, they start online. 97% of purchases happen online, pretty much. So if they're young millennial realtors, they do have an advantage over us. I mean, they know how to use, I don't even know what TikTok is. I don't know how to utilize that. I do some Facebook, but most of the people, young people, are not on Facebook. So they have a way to reach those people better than maybe the older agents.
That's so
This
true.
is what I did 20 some years ago when I first started. I said, when I'm up against another really like top producer for a listing appointment, I'll go in there and I'll tell the seller, hey, pick up your phone and call that top producing agent. See if she or he answers your call. And
Wow.
do the same thing to me 30 minutes later. I bet you I'd be answering my phone.
Yes.
You know what? You're my only business, and I'm going to give you 100% of my time and effort. Really a little bit of desperation, but if I don't sell your house, I can't pay my rent. I mean, that's how desperate I'll be. I will put all my effort. I made it. I may be new, but I have a team of brokers in my office that supports me, oversees my transaction, makes sure you're taken care of. So you got the best of the both world. You got the young, new, energetic agent based on, and also you got the experience because I have experience broker, managing broker, employing broker, other brokers in my office to support me. So that's kind of how I sold myself initially when I first.
That's great.
So maybe we could add that into the mix and.
Of course, that's great advice. And we have such a wonderful office,
Mhm.
a great mix of young and old. And that's something else when you join Metro Brokers Elite,
Mhm.
is that you've got that support system, whether, it's with New Dawn Realty or,
Mhm.
Liberty Associates or whoever, you hang your license with. We're all here to support you, and we'll mentor you, directly and help you and cheer for you. We've just got a fantastic office, and I love
All
the
right.
energy of
Well,
it.
thank you so much. Thank you for sharing those documents with me and with
Yeah.
the group. So I'll have those in my computer, laptop. So if any one of our brokers, our viewers, of course, our subscribers to this channel, if you guys ever need anything like that, we'll shoot it to you. We'll send it to you. We have such giving realtors, like Pam Carter gave us that
Yes.
neighborhood letter. So, there are many resources we have at the office. If you ever need it, just send me a comment or text me or what have you to reach us, and we'll get it to you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for
guys.
all you do, and then we'll see you next time. 차렷 경례.